Dragon Ball! Oh my god, this was such a good episode. See, I like how they ended it where it was kind of Ader who kind of was like the hero in that moment. The reason I like that is because the whole entire time we really got to see Goku fight, then we actually got to see Ader fight despite the fact that he hates violence. So we have a lot to talk about in this episode, especially because this kind of wrapped up when it comes to with White. So let's get started. Alright, so to begin, White was afraid. And I want to say, like, the reason to, like, him and with the village chief, like, him showing that desperation, him kind of using him as a hostage. What's my bat doing? Him using him as, like, a hostage in a way, kind of showed us that he was extremely desperate at that moment. You know, like, he was kind of afraid what Goku was going to do. He saw his abilities. It was a moment that it kind of showed us that this big general guy was kind of losing options. And you could actually tell based on his gestures alone, not even just him kind of like grabbing the chief in a certain way, but like with the sweat marks and everything, it was showing us that he was in a way desperate to find a solution. Now the thing is too, with the tail, I noticed that when General White tugged on his tail again, Goku loses some of his energy, but I don't think he loses a lot of his powers now because he's still able to fight. Maybe with the Kamehameha, like that might have been like kind of like diluted, but I feel like with his martial arts, because he's trained enough that Roshi was able to show him a different way of fighting and doesn't have to depend on the powers that he does have. I like how he's still able to fight because in like the few first episodes, was it with It was with Yamcha, right? Yeah, with somebody tugged his tail and he kind of lost some of his powers, and there was a disadvantage even when they cut off his tail, which I love that. When he was the big beast, he loses some of his powers. So hopefully this is becoming easier for him to kind of like, in a way, just handle, because now he's still able to show his fight and not give up because of his willpower. And I think that has a lot to do with the tournament arc. And like I just said, not give up. Same thing with his training. He's actually, I mean, he's been through worse. He's had enough of when it comes to different foes. I mean, like, yeah, General White was a pain in the ass, but I don't think he was as strong as the other people he's actually fought in the last arc, which was the tournament arc. So hopefully we actually get to see more bad guys come up on the screen that are even, like, on par with Goku's strength, where they don't get nervous around him, or they don't get like, oh my god, there's this kid who's like extremely strong, I have desperation right now. So what I'm curious to know is if we're ever gonna meet those bad guys, and if so, when. I'm not sure if they feature them in Dragon Ball or they're going to feature them more so in Z or Kai. Also, we're going to be watching Super 2, also all the movies as well. So we have a long journey to cover with Dragon Ball. There's a lot of ground to cover, but I obviously just need to know the best way, like the best experience, the best way to enjoy this series as a whole. Also, I love how Ader is saying no violence. Like, he's very against it. Even when it's needed, you could see that he's kind of like holding Goku back and being like, oh no, don't do that, don't do that. You're, like, in a way, that moment was really powerful, because when Goku was like, you know, he hurts people, he's never going to stop, I have to stop him. And Ader, in a way, was kind of saying, like, don't become like him, don't stoop to his level, you know, don't become somebody who just depends on violence. You're better than that, Goku. So I like how he is, in a way, he's his conscience, because Goku, I'm realizing, as he gets older, he's a little bit of a temper. And I feel like that is something that we're going to explore later on, which I like, because he's that type of character where it's like for justice, for good, for the honor of other people. He's very humble. He has that protagonist hero type personality, where it's like, if you hurt my friends, or if you hurt anything that I believe in, or if you hurt something that is of justice and good, that I'm going to destroy you. So I like how they're also showing us that Goku can go the limits of even hurting people to non-stop, where it's like they're never going to stop him, so I have to be the one to end it. But I like how Ader is kind of reminding us that, hey, sometimes you don't have to stoop to that level. There are other ways of handling this. Something that pisses me off, though, is like I just think it's funny, is they believe people so easily. Like when White was like, okay, I surrender, okay, and then suddenly it's all like, boom, I have the gun. It's like they believed him so easily, but I guess that's because they see more of the good in people rather than the evil. But I feel like that could be their disadvantage. It's happened so many times with Goku, and I think that is one of his disadvantages, where he trusts too easily. But hopefully, as he gets older, he'll learn that not everyone can be trusted. Something else, too, is I really enjoyed seeing how Ader was the one who defeated General White. And also the tower. That kind of showed us that minor characters, like he's not even supporting cast. He's like more of a minor character. He was more supporting cast in this mini arc. But I feel like he's gonna be more of a minor character rather than a major. I could be wrong about that. I hope we get to see more of him throughout the series. But I love how he's the one who defeated him, because that showed that he kind of got revenge on his maker. It's not like he was rebelling against him. He was kind of showing that his maker was treating him terribly. So now it's his turn to get his own freedom. So that fight when he punched him and everything, that was kind of us being like cheering him on, showing us that finally Ader has his freedom, and he has his freedom in order to think for himself, you know, like in a way he was treated like he was a nobody. He was treated like, oh, I'm just a war machine. But he's realizing that he is more human than even White is. White became the machine. Think about that. Think about the contrast, the dynamic between the relationship there. In that moment, General White was the machine because he was focused on force and destroying. And that was Ader's like purpose. That's the purpose that he gave him. But he served that purpose. He became the machine while Ader became the human with the heart. So I love how they had that dynamic going on where Ader was the one who destroyed him. Another thing too, the chief was so self-sacrificial. I'm like, you know you don't want to die, dude. He's like, I mean, it has its benefits if I return to the village. But it's like, I liked how he was kind of showing us that, you know, it's like he was worried about Goku because he's a kid. You know, I think he was more so worried about Goku than Ader because Ader is a man. Goku is a child. So I think that's him being the chief type way where Captain goes down with ship in a way where it's like, hey, don't worry about me. If things are destroyed, I have to go down with it. But I like how Goku did not give up on him. And another thing too is the fall of the tower. That was very powerful. And the reason because it's kind of in a way when they were watching it fall, it was like, this is our freedom. We are free from these reigns of dictatorship. We are free from this war. So I like how now it's showing us that this village has hope, and hopefully they don't bother them again, because I feel like if they do, Goku's gonna go 10 times harder on them, but hopefully General White realizes where his place is in the world. But anyway, my friends, I hope you have an amazing day. You stay weird, you stay wonderful, you stay awesome, and until the next video, embrace you're in a fangirl, and you're in a fanboy, and you're in a fan person every single day. Bye, guys!